so we have an idea before we start playing. This first line that we have right here, this is called a short line. Everyone say short line.
Short line.
Short line. This line that we have right here. Everyone see this line? Yeah? No, you don't. It's imaginary because we don't use it in racquetball. Okay, this is for a different game that we play. Okay, so the only line we have up here is called our short line. This one's imaginary. You don't even see that one. And this line that we have back here, this line runs all the way down all the courts. This is called our long line. Everyone say long line.
Long line.
So our front line here is called what?
Short line.
Our short line. Our back line here is called our
Long
line. Thank you. Cut that one. All right, so when we start to head down and line up in our teams, every period we're going to need some ball retrievers. Now a ball retriever is someone who's going to stay up on the blacktop and they're going to line themselves up on the fence up there. Their job as a ball retriever is if someone hits a ball over, the people down on plane will yell, "Ball retriever!" And that's the cue that a ball went over, and they'll run over, grab the ball, and throw it back over to the court. They don't just throw it over the fence, they need to walk down the line and see who's missing a ball. The best way to find out who's missing a ball is you'll walk down and you're going to see a group of people staring up like this, waiting for that ball. So you know that they're waiting for it. You can only be a ball retriever once, so my recommendation is save it for a day where you're not feeling well or you're just super tired, because once you use it, you can't be a ball retriever again, okay? Okay, after you're dismissed from your warm-ups and stretches, you'll come down the Panther Path ramp and you'll line up behind the racquetball cart here. Groups of 3 will line up in the front and they will be shoulder to shoulder, just like these students are doing. If they're a group of 2, anyone who has a group of 2 will be lined up behind the groups of 3. So groups of 2, raise your hand for me. So I have my groups of 2 behind my groups of 3. And then any single players that don't have a partner will line up in the back and we will pair them up with each other as we get to the end. Going? All right. Court 10, please. Court 10. You can go with them. You take your ball and court 10. Okay? Court 9. Head to court 9, please. And court 9. Single players. You two will be a team. Court 8, please. 2 single players. You'll form a team. Court 8. When you have your equipment and you come onto the court here, there's a safety rule that we need to do. You guys have all played Wii before, right?
Yes.
Does this little string look familiar?
Yes.
Yes. I want to make sure my wrist goes inside that string and I grab my handle like so. Okay? Because when I'm playing racquetball and I swing the paddle, I'm sure you've all done it, playing Wii, you didn't have your string on, you went to hit a ball on Wii, your little hand goes flying off and hits your mom in the head or something. Okay? She yells at you. We need to make sure we have safety. That way, if I accidentally let go of this handle, it's still on my wrist. Okay? And what I like to tell my students is, if this string is kind of big like this one, you give it a twist or 2. That way it's nice and tight around your wrist. Okay? So safety first. Make sure you're aware of the people around you. If you got someone right behind you, don't backswing hard and whap them in the head. There's going to be 4 people on the court at a time, so we need to make sure we have enough space and we know who's around us. Okay? Cut. All right, so the basic setup of our game for racquetball, typically it's not a rule, but it's just good play that you have one player of a color, a yellow, on one side of the court with a red on one side of the court, and this kind of half line that we have here, you're typically going to want a yellow on this side and a red on this side. Okay? When we start the game, we need one player from each team to be in a what we call a serving box. We don't have our serving box drawn out, but you have to just imagine this long line that we have here, there's going to be an imaginary box right here that you stand in. So yellow will stand in a box on one side, and red will stand in that imaginary box on the other side. So that means we have a yellow in play and a red in play. Okay? Now when you serve the ball, you're going to bounce the ball on the ground like so, and you're going to hit it up against the wall. So if she had the ball, she would drop it, serve it up against the wall, up against the front wall for me. Do it again. Serve and hit. I was pointing in the wrong direction. I apologize. Just like so. Now, as soon as she makes contact with that ball, my players that are in the serving box, they get to come in and play right away. Okay? They're just in the serving box to stay out of the way of the server. But once that ball is hit, they're in play. And then, if a red hits it, what color do you think is going to hit it next?
Yellow.
A yellow. And then a what?
Red.
And then a?
Yellow.
And then a?
Red.
Good. It can't be red, red. That's a point for the other team. It can't be yellow, yellow. That'll be a point for the red team. Okay, so you need to alternate colors. Now, he can hit it, she can hit it, back and forth, and these guys never hit it. That's possible, but if the ball is on this side and it's red's turn to hit it, red's going to probably come over and get it. Okay, let me borrow your paddle. If it is red's turn to hit it, come on out and pretend you're going to hit a ball, imaginary ball coming at you, and it's on her side, it would be bad technique, bad teamwork for me to run in and go, oh, I got it instead, and run in front of her. Okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get in her way. Okay, it's probably going to be a bad hit on me, and it's going to mess up her hit. Would you guys agree with that? So if the ball's on that side and it's red's turn to hit it, she should probably be the one to hit it. Correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Now, this rule only applies when you're serving. Okay? The ball must always hit the front wall first on the serve before it hits any of the side walls. Okay? The ball must always hit the front wall first, even if it's not a serve, before it hits the ground. And what I mean by that is, I can't play handball. You know when you use the big red ball and you hit up against a wall? Well, if I'm going to hit that front wall, I don't hit the ground first. It's not like this. You see how it went ground wall? It needs to go from my paddle to the wall, and then it can hit the ground. You guys got that? So if it goes floor, wall, no good. Point for the other team. Wall, floor, good. Game on. Got it? So that's every hit. So even if I hit it, paddle, wall, and he hits it, wall, floor, I hit it, wall, floor, it's good until someone hits the floor first. Okay? If the ball hits that fence up there, that's a point for the other team. That's out of bounds. If it goes over the wall, out of bounds, point for the other team. Now some other rules that we have on our serving. We're going to think about our short line and our long line. On my serve, I'm always going to call the score out. So right now the score is 0-0. So I'm going to say 0-0 service. I always bounce it first on my serve. Leaves my paddle, hits the wall. That ball needs to go past the short line. If I serve it and it goes before the short line on its first bounce, it's called a short. What's it called?
Short.
A short. If I serve the ball, it bounces off the wall, and the first bounce is past the long line. What do you think it's called?
Long.
A long. If I hit a short or a long on my serve, it's a reserve. It's not a point. Got that?
Yes.
If I hit another one, a short or a long, then it's a point. So I get one boo-boo. So I can hit a short, it's a reserve. If I hit a long, it's a reserve. But if I hit a short and a short, it's a point for the other team. If I hit a long and a long, it's a point for the other team. If I hit a short, then a long, point for the other team. Or long and short, point for the other team. Got it? So you get one boo-boo. On your second one, any combination of, it's a point for the other team and they get to serve. Okay? Now, let's imagine our game going on. You serve for me. He's going to call the score out because we always call the score. Let's say you're winning 1-0. Go ahead.
1-0.
1-0. He serves. Good. It bounces off the wall, and that is good. Okay? It can bounce off the side wall on the serve as long as it hits the front wall first. After the serve, I can bounce it off the side wall here. I can do this. Side wall. Oh, that would have been bad. Let me try that one again. Side wall. Front wall. That's good. And then bounce off that side wall and he could hit it. This game gets pretty crazy because it starts bouncing off walls. Okay? But once it hits the ground once, he has to hit it before it bounces the ground twice. Okay, so he's got to be kind of paying attention to the angle of the ball and kind of guess where that ball is going to land. Okay. Now, if I served, no, he just served, he scored a point. It is now 2-0. He's going to call the score out again.
2-0.
2-0 service. Good, hits a good serve. I hit it hard, boom, bounce it off the wall, bounces off his head, hits the ground. I scored a point. The score is now what? 1-2. So now I get to serve. I call 1-2 service. I hit a spinner ball, boom, bounces off, hits him in the air, hits the ground. He falls on the ground. I score another point. The score is what?
2-2.
2-2. So I'm going to call 2-2 service. I serve, and oh, I messed up. It hit the floor first. Now it goes back to yellow. What's yellow score now?
3.
3-2. But didn't he already serve?
Yeah.
He already served, right? So it's not fair that he gets to serve the whole time and poor yellow standing there waiting. Okay? So yellow will then go into the box over there. Yellow will come into play. I'll go into the box, and our red will be into play. Okay? But we're sorry. That's good. So you always want a yellow on one side, red on one side. Okay? Now, yellow gets to serve from the other team now. And he'll keep serving until he messes up, which he did. So then red will get to serve now. Go ahead, red. Red will take the ball. She'll call out the score. I think it's, 4-3 or something like that. So she calls the score out. 4-3 service. A lot of pressure on her. Good. Now, let's say she messed up, which she did not. She scored a point. But if she messed up, whose turn would it be to serve now?
Yellow.
Yellow. But didn't he already serve?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just served. So now you'll come in over here where I am. I'll come in. You'll stay over there. Now you go in the serving box.
the other side.
Okay? You see how that happens? So when it's time for the other team to serve, if they just got done serving, then the other team, the person that was in the serving box will then go in and they'll be able to play. Okay?
Rolling.
Okay. When I'm hitting, let me borrow your paddle for a moment. When I'm hitting the ball, like I said, on a serve, the serve, it must hit the front wall first, and then it can hit a sidewall. After the serve, it can hit the sidewall first. Okay, and it starts to get a little tricky. So, if someone served it to me, bounced off the wall, and I go to hit it, I can hit it. It could actually hit, if I'm strong enough, which I am, could hit the sidewall, 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 back and forth, and then hit the front wall and be good. Okay? Now, after the serve, remember on the serve we said it had to go past that short line, but before that long line. After the serve, it could actually hit the front wall and do a little baby bounce. Okay? After the serve, it can be short. It can be before that short. But it can never, ever, ever, ever be a long. If it's a long after the serve, it's an automatic point. If it's a long on the serve, it's just a reserve unless it's the second one. You guys got that? So never are you allowed to hit a long, and you can hit a short after the serve. And that's actually good technique, is to try to hit that ball low so it has little baby bounces.
Wait,
Those
you
are
did
hard
that
to
on your
get.
serve.
Okay?
Can't do it on the serve.
Your serve.
Yeah, so you can't do it on a serve. It's called a short, and it would be a reserve. But after the serve, shorts are okay. Okay? So, just to recap, on the serve, it must hit the front wall first, and then it can hit a sidewall. After the serve, it can hit a sidewall or the front wall or any combination of, as long as it hits the front wall before it hits the ground. So I cannot hit sidewall, floor, and then front wall, because it hit the floor before the front wall. Okay? So just keep in mind, it must hit the front wall before it hits the floor. Okay? Thank you. Now, when we begin our tournament play, as you can see, we have courts numbered. We have court number 10, court 9, all the way down to court number 1. We do not use court number 1 because court number 1 is too close to the fence. So if the ball goes over the wall on court number 1, we lose it in the ditch. Okay, so court 1 doesn't really exist. So court number 2 will be our last court that we use. Okay, so court 2 is our last court. Court 10 we consider our championship court. Court number 2 we consider our I hate to say loser court, but our not so good at racquetball yet court. Okay, So when we begin our rotation, our goal is to be the last team to win on court number 10. If you're the last team to win on court number 10, you will win bonus points for the day. Okay? Now, how our rotation goes, we'll play 2 to 3 minute games. When you hear me blow the whistle and yell for rotation like so, rotate! That will be the cue that the 2 or 3 minutes is done, and you will then rotate. If you win on your court, you will rotate up 1 court. So if I was on court number 9 and I won, I would go to court number 10. If I was on court number 10 and I lost, I would rotate down to court number 9. If I was the winning team on court number 10, the very last court, there's nowhere to rotate up to, so I will stay there. If I'm on court number 2, or whatever court is last for that day, if you lose on court number 2 or the last court, you will stay there because there's nowhere to rotate down to. So you stay on court number 2. Okay? So we're going to give a sample rotation for our purpose. Green, when I say rotate, you're going to be the winners. You'll rotate up 1. Yellow, you'll be the losers. You'll rotate down 1. Blue, you'll be the winners. You'll rotate up 1. Yellow, you'll be the losers. You'll go down 1. And red, you'll be the winners here. You stay here because there's nowhere to rotate up to. Okay? So, imagine you're playing right now. Do a fake plane, swinging that paddle around. 2 minutes is up. I'll yell, rotate. You'll rotate up or down. Take your paddles with you. And as you see, now you have new players. I will then do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then you'll start your new game. Okay? Now, as you can see, we had an extra player here. We had a team of 3. He was on the yellow team. Okay? When we rotate, the extra player that was sitting on the fence, staying out of the way, when we rotate, he'll go in and take a paddle from someone. So if you're in a team of 3, every time you rotate, the person on the fence will come in, the person who took the paddle will go out, and then we'll play again. When we rotate again, she'll come in and take the paddle from the person that hasn't been out, and then she'll sit on the fence. That way they only stay out 1 game and you get to play for 2 in a row. Okay? Now, once we start playing again, we'll rotate again. If you're a loser before, you're going to be a loser again. Winner will be a winner again. Okay? Ready? You guys are going to actually move up. Ready? Rotate. Winner goes up. Losers go down. It should take about 10 seconds or so to rotate. Then I'll do a countdown again. 3, 2, 1. And now you're playing again. Okay. Okay, so at the end of the game, when we do our rotation, if it happens to be a tie, okay, more than likely, unless there was some confusion on the court and some arguing and they wasted some time, it's not going to be 0-0. There's going to be a score. If it happens to be 0-0 because of some confusion that went on, rock, paper, scissors will win it. Okay, but that's hardly ever going to happen. The tiebreaker that's probably going to happen is like a 5-5 score or a 10-10 score. The tiebreaker is the team that scored the last point. So if it's 10-9 and the team that has 9 scored a point to tie it up and I call time, the team that had 9 scored the last point to tie it up, so they actually win, so they will move up as a winner. Okay, so the team that scored the last point in a tie wins the tiebreaker. Okay, so at the end of the day, when our period is done, we'll collect all equipment. Do not come to me with your equipment. I will come to you, okay? So we'll go to court number 10. Court 10, please give me your ball. Thank you. You may put your paddles away and head back up to the blacktop. Court number 9. Thank you. You may put your paddles away and head back up to the blacktop.
Okay, guys.
Court number 8, ball please. Thank you. You may put your paddles away, head up to the blacktop. Please remember that when you put your paddles away, you put them away nice and neat. You just don't throw them on top. They go inside the square. Show them over there where the squares are.
You're going.
All right, so just a couple more rules before we end our video today. We're going to have some players that are tempted to bang their paddle on the wall like that. That is a no-no out here. It starts to ruin our wall, and it starts to put a little edge on our paddle, which makes it useless to play racquetball with, because now it has an edge that the ball could bounce off of. When we do our rotation, like our people demonstrated for us, we're going to take our paddle with us when we rotate, but our tennis ball will stay on the court. So when it's time to rotate, I'll put my tennis ball down, I'll rotate, and the new teams that come in will have a tennis ball waiting for them, okay? If the tennis ball goes over this back fence here, it's your responsibility to go get that tennis ball, but I'll try to have a couple extra ones, so if it goes over the fence, I'll toss you a new one so you can start playing right away, and I'll grab that other one. But if I'm way down on the far side of the field and your tennis ball comes over here, it'll be a lot quicker for you to go get it than for me to, okay? So keep that in mind.